Hello class. So today we will be taking up with the chapter from biology, that is chapter 3, cell, the basic unit of life. Okay. Now before going through the definition of the cell, you all have seen huge buildings, right? What are they made up of? They are made up of bricks. Like every bricks are piled upon each other to make a building. Similarly, our body of any living organisms consists of a cell. That's why cell is the basic unit of life. Now another definition, more sophisticated definition of a cell is also referred to as structural and functional unit of life. Okay, now first we will understand why is it called structural unit of life. Why is it called structural unit of life? Because it gives the shape to any living organism. All living organism is made up of cell. That's why it is referred to as structural unit of life. Why it is called functional unit of life? It is referred to as functional unit of life because whatever the function is being carried out in a living organism is because of cell. Your cells, they group together and they form tissue. The cell which perform a similar function is referred to as a group of cells which perform a similar function is referred to as a tissues, and tissues, they group together and form organs, and organs group together and they form a organ system. So eventually who is carrying out all the function in a living organism? It is being carried out by the cell. Okay, that's why cell is referred to as the structural and functional unit of life. Now can we visualize cell with the help of a naked eye? Okay, no, we cannot visualize. Cells are very tiny. We cannot see with our eyes. Okay, we need the help of other instrument or equipment because of which you can visualize the cell. Now what is the name of that instrument? That is referred to as microscope. With the help of microscope only you will be able to visualize the cell because they are very tiny. Okay, now the scientist who was the first one to visualize the cell or discover a microscope was Antony van Leeuwenhoek. He was the scientist who developed a microscope, but that microscope was made up of only a single lens, and he observed the cell under the drop of water, but he did not name it as a cell. So Anton van Leeuwenhoek, his microscope was very simple because it was just made up of a single lens. Okay, then came another scientist referred to as Robert Hooke. He was the one who invented compound microscope. Okay, so your simple microscope was invented by which scientist? Anton van Leeuwenhoek, and the compound microscope was invented by your Robert Hooke. Okay, now I guess you all have seen the microscope, right? So your microscope model that you see these days is based on Robert Hooke's microscope. Okay, so Robert Hooke observed the cork cells, and under the microscope he could visualize the compartments like that of a honeycomb. That's why he was the one who termed it as a cell. Okay, he could see the compartments like a honeycomb. Okay, he visualized a dead cell under the microscope, who termed it as a cell. Cell is derived from a Latin word cellula, which means a compartment or a small compartment or room. Okay, that's why he referred to it as a cell. Now let us discuss about the variation in the cell on the or you can term it as cell diversity on the basis of its size, number, shape. Okay, first let us take the number. Now some of the organisms are made up of only one cell. Now those organisms are referred to as unicellular organisms. Example are your bacteria, virus, protozoa. All these are made up of only one cell. That's uni means unit, one. That's why it is referred to as unicellular organism. Now next, multicellular organisms. Organisms which are made up of millions and millions of cells are referred to as multicellular organisms. We human beings, trees and different animals, they come under multicellular organism because they are made up of millions and millions of cells. Okay, now next, coming to the size of the cell. Now size also varies. Bacterial cells are the tiniest of the cell. You all have seen nerve cell, those are the longest, and ostrich egg cell is the largest. Okay, on the basis of the size. This is not all the cells are of a similar size, they vary. Okay, now shape. Now you all, shape also varies from one cell to another. Let us take the example of a blood cells. You have red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. Your red blood cells are of concave shaped. By concave shaped, okay, just like the yellow chocos that you eat, okay, depressed in the middle portion, concave shaped, and your white blood cells are of amoeboid shape. Amoeboid means it is irregular, it can take any shape. Why is it so? So that because white blood cell it has to reach the site of infection, so that site of infection can be at any corner of your body, so your white blood cells are of irregular shaped. Okay, in our next class we will be discussing about the two cell types, your plant cell and animal cell. Okay, its structure and its parts. Okay, plant cell, obviously the cells are present in plant, and animal cells, they are present in animals. They have basic structural difference which we will be discussing in our next class. So for today's class, what all did we learn? The definition of the cell, right? Discovery of a microscope. Who was scientist, name of the scientist, you have to learn the name of the scientist behind the discovery of the microscope. Okay, the cell diversity, that means cell organism based on the single cell are known as unicellular. Having a multiple number of cells are known as multicellular. So we have discussed all. In our next class we will be taking up with the plant cell and animal cell in detail. Thank you.